Hey there, Sarah Nickerson here of NextGenMedium.com. I'm a psychic medium and I have a mission. My mission is to change humanity. Do it in 3 ways. Very specific. Psychic medium ownership, intuition, integration, and life purpose alignment. These are 3 things that you are set up as a human to own right in this moment, right now. You just don't know how to do that yet. And so that's my job. My job is to help lead you into metaphysical integration. No big deal. Okay, so this video is intended to go through the steps of accessing where psychic mediumship information is. And I do it based on my own experience of not having these skills, of witnessing these skills, experimenting, and eventually owning it as my own truth. And that exploration took a year. The amount of time it took me to see information, to gather information, and to find validation for evidence of proof, I would say it took me about 6 weeks to get to a place of being about 80% sure that I was a psychic medium, that these skills were real, that I could do that. And then it took me a whole year altogether to finally get to a place of being like, I'm 99% sure. And I'm also quite sure that I'm not special and that I think this is something that can be taught. And I think this is something that anybody can be a part of. And that was just the psychic medium portion. It was later on that the intuition stuff came more to light. And that was the stuff that it really hit me as the stuff that's going to change the world, is understanding your intuition. Psychic mediumship, we're going to talk about an important aspect of that. And that's going to be like kind of the main focus of the video. But intuition was the thing that really like set me in a new place of like, oh my God, everything's been leading up to me understanding this concept. Like this was the point of realizing I was a psychic medium, or knowing that there's a metaphysical reality that is going along with this physical reality that you and I share. The intuition, that was a big piece. And I want to talk about that. But first, and then the third thing is your purpose, your life purpose. And that's something I came across in coaching stuff that I was getting trained in when it came to like spiritual life coaching. And it's something I've integrated to understand as something that's very, very important that every single person should have defined for themselves as to what your purpose is. Going along with understanding what your intuition is, having these 2 pieces of the puzzle, you start to understand how to use your intuition to get the life that you want. Like, you kind of need one and the other. There's no point in talking about intuition if we don't talk about why you need to use the intuition. Meanwhile, the psychic medium piece, this is where we're going to talk about and focus today, is to expose your reality to a whole new reality that's happening right now that you'll be able to access utilizing your imagination that has truth. And there's something about conceptualizing this, right, that really challenges a lot of what you know about the imagination. And what this discussion is going to be, let me tell you what I know about the imagination now. Because the imagination does include things, but it also includes truth. And that is something that we're not ever talking about. And maybe we're in a time in history of humanity where we're going to learn the true impact of imagination and truth, and that these things do exist together in a reality. They do exist in the physical reality, but it's easy to access in the metaphysical reality. And then imagine. Use your imagination. There's another world that's happening, and that's how we access it, is through the imagination. So we'll get to those components in a second when it comes to the main discussion. But I'm also going to give you the process to access your psychic medium abilities, because that's what I did in the last video, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. And my hope is that I have a shorter video, and I'm going to keep working at it until I get there. And in the meantime, I was thinking, you know what? There's little topics I can bring up here and there that can sort of be like why this video would be different than the next one. But either way, I still want to discuss this process, because people need to know what those steps look like. And they also need to know maybe what to expect. Is it going to blow your mind? Probably not. I know the day that I went into exploring Psychic Mediumship 101, that 5-hour class, I left buzzed. Like, I was like, whoa, that was really cool. But I wasn't walking away like I understand things so much more clearly now. Like, I've witnessed something amazing, like changed my reality. That's not what happened. But that class opened the door for something pretty significant in my life in a couple different ways. But first, before we get into anything, I need to do a little promotion, because I got to get used to like doing this kind of stuff. And it's really weird because it just seems weird to promote myself. But that's like the point of my energy, is to share what I know and to help people who want to explore. It's interesting. I was thinking today about a title, and like, what do I want to call myself? Am I going to be like a metaphysical coach, metaphysical integration coach, or, coach? I hate that word. I hate that everybody's using that word, and it's got like a meaning now that's like a friend, but paid. You're a paid friend that you can talk to. Well, call me a coach, And then travel agent actually came to mind, because it's kind of like I'm helping you get there. I'm helping you explore something. I'm helping you get to a place that you're going to define for yourself. I'm going to give you things to do. I'm going to tell you how to get there. But ultimately, like, I can't live your experience. Like, that's for you to build, And that's kind of like what a travel agent does. So, I don't know. I got to work on that one a little bit, travel agent. But anyway, a couple things. One is nextgenmedium.com is my website, and there I have a blog, and you can check out information there that supplements the information I'm going to be talking about here. I also do one-on-one consultations, so these can vary. So sometimes people just want a chat with me just to kind of get their bearings on what's going on for them, and it varies as to why people want to talk to me. But usually it's sort of like, is what I'm experiencing like psychic, or is it mediumship? Like, they want clarification of their abilities from me. And so that doesn't take like a huge long relationship in order for me to just be like, oh yeah, from what you're describing, and we talk about things, and I give you advice, and we might even do a meditation just so I can see things in action. It really doesn't take a long time for me to be able to be like, oh, okay, well, this is what I think is happening, And my suggestion going forward, And so that would be like a one-off session. But then I do other sessions where it's like 6 to 8 week deep dive where we can get into the nooks and crannies of stuff, where I give you things to do. We talk about what happens. And from there, like, I really get to know how things work for you. And man, have I gotten so much out of these longer relationships and longer coaching opportunities, because if I hadn't gone through these longer opportunities of really like being side by side with someone in their journey, whether they're aware of their psychic medium abilities or not, whether they're fresh in this, like, hey, I just want to see what happens, or they're already working and doing intuitive stuff, but they sort of want like confirmation that they're in the right place, that they're doing the right things. There's like no certifications out there. Like, there's no people out there that are like checking boxes and having you complete exams, or like that stuff does not exist. So if you're going out and you're maybe like doing stuff on TikTok, or if you're doing readings, like there's some sort of validation you want in that process before you really like go to town with it. And so that could be another reason why you want to do like a 6 to 8 week thing with me. You're just starting to explore, or you're already exploring, but you're just not feeling that emotional security and really want that with somebody who does this stuff for a living. So you can check out those opportunities at my website, nextgenmedium.com. I also have people booking for readings for next month. I took a little break from readings. I think I really needed that, and I'm really happy that I did that. So if you are looking to get a reading, you can sign up for February. That's next month. One thing I did want to address real quick before we really get into things, and I'm already 12 minutes in. Wearing my Green Day shirt today. I want to tell you a little story. I love music. Music is so important to me. And it's really what gave me a voice when I really didn't feel like I had one when I was a teenager. And Green Day were the band that like got me into music. They were the ones that were my favorite band. I was 9 years old when I first started liking Green Day. And this shirt is one of my OG Green Day shirts from the Dookie days of 1994. And it is 2024. And it is 30 years. So I just wanted to give a congratulations to Green Day and Dookie and the world for getting to have that. I even remembered that, oh my God, there's this photo from when I was 9 years old wearing this friggin' shirt. Can you believe that? It's insane. And that's Shannon. This is elementary school, and we're on the playground and wearing my Green Day shirt. This shirt is sort of like a magical unicorn because it actually survived a fire. Like, a whole apartment building burnt down. This came out whole in the ashes. It was just like remarkable. So you're looking at a miracle. And I just got to give props to 30 years for Dookie. There it is. All right. And that's where I'm wearing my shit shirt today. And it's like legit 1994, 95, maybe 95. But yeah, it's really important to me. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to say congratulations, boys. And they've got a new album coming out very soon. I think it's the 21st. I can't remember. And I'm not getting paid for this, but anyway. All right. So let's talk real quick about why you would want to get into psychic mediumship development. Can you do psychic mediumship development and not have had a psychic medium experience? Here's what I got to say about that. How old was I in this picture? I was 9. 3 years later, from this photo, I would have a psychic dream, a premonition dream, where I would dream something and 2 days later it happened. Specifically, I was 12 years old. I know this. I remember this. And that was the first inkling that I was capable of something. I didn't feel like I had control over it. I didn't know how it would happen. In this instance, it was a dream. Like, who has control of their dreams? If you do, like, holy shit, that's amazing. I still don't. I wish I did. But other than that, like, there were instances where strange things would occur, and I feel like I would logic or reason my way out of these things, being a psychic experience. Mediumship? Nope. Never. I do not recall anything from my past where mediumship was a thing. Mediumship is talking to dead people, right? Some people who do mediumship, and this is what I've heard, they experience it as if it's happening outside of them, like it's happening around them, like people are moving, there's a shadow, there's an energy. My truth and my understanding and my experience, it's all in my head with mediumship. There are sort of instances where imagination and the reality, the physical reality that's around me sort of integrates it, like there is some sort of like, this is kind of weird. I was not expecting this to go in this direction. Where it's almost like my imagination can see how tall the person is compared to the person I'm reading. And I can almost like through my imagination impose this person in this space. That's the way to say it. But to say that this person is physically walking around and like touching people and like, no, that's not my experience. And when people say, "Oh, that's how it works for me," I got to be like, "Okay, I don't understand that." But I'm just saying, like, people have different experiences, and the stuff that I've experienced, there have been other people that will be like, "I don't understand it that way." And it's just like our physical world reality life, where I've had an experience that has gotten me to this point. And there's lots of nuancy things that makes my experience unique from any other person that's lived on this earth. And the same for you. And the same for Billy Joe, Green Day. So the same thing goes for a psychic medium who's had so many experiences, who understands that world in their own specific way through their experiences and their biases. Because it's there too. In this metaphysical, spiritual realm, biases and perception are still there. Our goal is to clear that stuff out of the way, because it gets in the way of the messaging, gets in the way of the truth. And that stuff that comes later on in our game of playing psychic medium. Because the goal at first is to just become familiar with the imagination in a way that you're watching things happen. Now, I say watching, which you're going to connect with visual, but I also want you to take into consideration observation that's beyond visual. Oh, crap. What? Sarah, you're getting too, like, I can't deal with that kind of concept. Okay, so in your imagination, you are capable of visualizing. You're capable of hearing things. You're capable of having thoughts. You're capable of feeling sensation. Okay, but what's imagination and what's real? That's where the work comes in. You're not used to distinguishing the two, because your focus is usually primarily physical world reality. And your work is to integrate the metaphysical piece, which means we need to pay more attention to the imagination space. I have a theory. I have a theory that working with artists is going to be a super easy transition to understand this metaphysical reality, because it's not too far off from their reality. Why do I say that? When I was around this age, this prop is really coming in handy today. I started playing guitar and I started drawing. And yeah, I was drawing, like doodling, like cartoons. But what became a huge focus for me was learning to draw reality, drawing what I see, and people portraits. That was something that I was really focused on wanting to be good at. There is a lot that you, as an artist, as a creator, you'll hear in your head. Lyrics that just pour out onto the paper that you're writing on, writing down the lyrics. Or you're visualizing something in your head that it's almost like you're seeing the drawing before the drawing's even on the paper. And these are things that are tapping into that imagination space, and that could very well actually be downloaded information that is part of your purpose. It's stuff that brings you joy, right? We don't sit down and write a poem because we want to. It's because we feel compelled to. And if someone's making you write a poem, and you're sitting down and you're going, oh, this sucks. They didn't prepare you very well, because what they should do is make you excited to do it. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, right? There's a lot of stuff in us internally that would make us go, oh, I'm just not a good poet, like somehow already determined. I haven't died yet, but I've already determined that I just will never be able to be good at poetry. It's just not what I'm good at. So that is mindsets, that is perspective, that's bias, and that's the stuff that gets in the way of the imagination space. That's the stuff that gets in the way of our physical world, social world, and it's carried over into the imagination reality. But I feel like I've gone way off topic here. The emphasis of this video is meant to be about what is the point of psychic medium ability. The point is to expose you to a new reality, and it's in the imagination. We're acclimating, we're getting used to that, we're paying more attention to it, we're gaining more awareness of it. That's it. The more we can become familiar with this reality, we actually have a comparison to the physical world reality that we live every day. It actually allows us becoming familiar with another reality, which is actually a much simpler reality. It actually helps define things so much easier. Like there's so much in this reality that makes you want to escape there, because the physical world reality fucking sucks. Like there's all these rules that somebody made up that all of a sudden, like, I have to adhere to. But here's the thing. If you don't have anything of that physical world, if you have nothing to compare that to, then you can't really see that world for what it is and how it's impacted you. And so psychic medium ability allows you access to the imagination space and explore its truth. How are we going to do that? We don't just go there to play. We're going there on a mission when we want to see our psychic medium abilities. Okay. How are we going to do that? We've got a process. Step 1. Put a hole in the box. Right? Step 1. Don't do that. Step 1. Relax. This is the process. This is how we get to that space. This is the space I go to when I do psychic medium readings. So when you sign up for a reading in February, you're going to watch it in action. Actually, you probably won't. Because I've gotten to a place where I don't need to do the process because I know right where it is. I know where to go. I've trained my awareness to know right where it is. Kind of like if you're a musician and you're thinking about G chord. Who doesn't think about G chord? Open G chord. When you're thinking about open G chord, your fingers go right to that spot. Like, boop, G chord. It's locked. It's in there. I know where I'm going. Open G. I'm not doing no bar chords. My little fingers, my little hands can't handle that. All right, step 1. Here we go. Here's the process. It's the same process that I said in the last video. It's the same process I said in the video before. And we're going to do it again. Process goes like this. I thought I had written it down. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. Pretty sure of myself. Step 1, you're going to close your eyes. And you're going to take 3 deep breaths in and out. Each time deeper than the one before. And then the last one, really deep, and exhale for really long. Okay? The point of this is we're just trying to get you to relax. Whatever you were doing before, we're trying to get you in a new energy, a new brain energy. That's the way that I like to say it. Other people just say energy. Well, I'm going to be specific because I like to talk about the brain. I think the brain is how I make sense of all this. Okay? When we're talking about like body frequency and energy, it's like, okay, that's cool. We're talking about brain. I'm talking about brain. Like brain frequency. So you take the deep breaths in and out, still closing your eyes. And then you're going to bring your attention and your focus to your body. How often do we do that? How often are we just sitting here and just like feeling our body, like the different places in our body? We don't. Like, we're completely unfamiliar with this. And there's so many people I come across where they say, and you've heard me say this in other videos, if you've seen them, I don't know how to meditate. I can't meditate. And honestly, like, I want to say, you know what? You might be right. You might be right. You might not be able to meditate. But here's the thing. We're not used to meditating. So we need to get you practicing how to meditate because your body's just not used to it. Your attention span is not used to it. You're not used to just shutting off the outside world. And if we become more used to that, then we'll have a whole lot of perspective of what the fuck is going on here, because we really don't. Which reminds me, I had a thought. If I run for president, which I won't, my platform, and the only thing that I would talk about is free healthcare, or free, I'd love to do free healthcare. Free mental health care seeing a therapist for a year, free for anybody who wants it. Free, 1 year, therapist. You get it. Wouldn't that be amazing? If there's anything I've learned in this whole process, in the 5.5 year journey that I've been on, if there's anything I've really picked up along the way, it's like inner child work. Holy shit. Psychic mediumship, messaging, really getting to know what was blocking my messaging, what was making things difficult. And this is what took the year for me to be like, okay, this is legit. 99% I'm there. This stuff is real life. I can do this. But I understand why it's so fucking hard. It's because of the inner child shit. It's because of how detached we are from who we really are. Because we've had to mold ourselves and mold our behavior and really become someone we're not. And we're pretending. And it's awful. And I can't wait to see a therapist for free when I become president. Remember? I was talking about this earlier. Oh, who's this lady? Okay. So we're at step 2, right, in that process. And I think we're actually doing good on time. Usually I'm sucking at time. But we need to bring our attention inward. We need to focus on the different parts of our body and just feel it. Like feel from within our body. So closing your eyes and you start at your toes. And you just feel your toes. And you just go, "Hey toes, what's up? How you feeling down there?" Yeah. I can actually feel the blood kind of flowing back away from my toes. Okay, that's cool. All right. Well, thanks for letting me check in. You don't have to have a conversation with the different parts of your body, but just acknowledging. And then slowly bringing your attention to another part of your foot. And the point is that we have multiple points that we're going up in order to stretch out our time of awareness that we're doing this, okay? But also to give us time for our brain to get to a lower frequency place. So I need you to be able to really stretch this out so that you can get your brain in a certain place. Where is that certain place? Here's how I would describe it. The term I've used, and I actually came up with it on Reddit a couple months ago, and I was like, oh my God, that's the word. That's the phrase. I call it lazy brain. And the reason why I call it lazy brain is because it's brain function that is dumb. If you've ever been stoned, I've been stoned only a handful of times, and I hate it every single time. And there's a reason why. It's almost like you're watching what's happening, but there's no thought after that, right? It's like, especially if you get really, I don't even know the term for super stoned, caked. I don't know if that's what it is. It sounds right. That sounds like something. I just made it up. You get super stoned, and it's almost like you're just watching things happen, and that's it. That's lazy brain. When you go beyond lazy brain is when you're coming back up to the brain activity that we are used to being in, and that occupies so much of our time and energy. And that would be characterized as you are planning something. You are criticizing the process. You are questioning the process. Oh, I'm not witnessing anything maybe if I close my eyes really tight, or did I just make that up? I'm not sure. What did that look like again? What were the details? See, when we're really like over analyzing and we're getting critical, we're getting to a place where our perception starts creeping in. That's what that sounds like. And when we're doing that, we're allowing portions of imagination that are steeped in fear and fantasy, we're allowing that to cloud up our imagination space. We want to clear that stuff out of the way because we just want to see this band of truth that we're there for. That's what we're tuning into. I want that. It takes time. It takes time to understand what I'm talking about, first of all, to experience that, and to repeat it and recognize it. But you have to go there. You have to build those experiences. And it takes time. And it takes effort, and it takes being able to go to these experiences, sitting down and doing that. So once you have visited the different places in your body and you're sort of in a daze, that's another way to characterize it, is I'm in a daze. I feel like I'm hypnotized. I'm daydreaming. That's when we would do an initiation. And really, I like to leave this up to the person who's developing this stage for themselves. And there's different ways, like I could make suggestions about it. One would be, all right, once you've made your way all the way to the top of your head, I want you to visualize a curtain, like you're at a theater. You see these beautiful velvet red curtains, and they're going to get pulled back. And when they do, an image will appear. And this will start your journey where you will let your curiosity lead the way. And you're just going to watch what happens. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Curtain pulls back. What do you see? Go from there. And then you're on your journey. And then you're seeing the things. You're hearing stuff. You might be smelling something. You might feel sensations in your body. You might feel emotion. You might start thinking thoughts. You might hear the thoughts. You might hear the thoughts with somebody else's voice. Just letting your curiosity lead the way. And that's all you need to do for now. But there's going to come a point when you visited this, when you're kind of getting used to the routine of, closing the eyes, doing the breath, exploring the body. My body is a wonderland. And then you're doing the curtain. You're doing the exploration. That your intention in going in there is, I want proof that there's truth here. I want proof of that truth. Show me something that's proof. I will take it with me. I will remember it. I'll write it down after this session. And I'm going to Google it. Or I'm going to go ask a friend. What is it? I want to be a millionaire? I'm going to phone a friend. I'm going to ask the audience. There will be a time when the validation occurs. And you're going to go, it only happened one time. I need more to verify for truth to really be what's happening here. This could have just happened by chance. You're going to reason your way out of it. And that's fine because we are scientific process minded. We want it to happen once. We want to happen again. This is showing proof that the formula works, right? Do that. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. For me, mediumship was the way. That's how I got lots of information. I went to my husband's mom. She was able to confirm everything I was willing to share with her, which wasn't everything that I'd gotten, but it was enough for me to be like, I'm going to go pee my pants now. And it was actually that reading, that session with her dad that got me 80% of the way there within maybe a month of exploring this stuff. So expectation, give it 4 weeks. Give it 4 weeks. Try it out 2 to 3 times a week. Should take 20 minutes, maybe longer. Sometimes when you're in the zone, like you're in it. And maybe some days you're not feeling it so much. And that's fine too. Don't force something that doesn't want to happen either. And so that's the process. When for me, I'll fall asleep when I know I'm done. There's been plenty of sessions where maybe I went for too long and I actually was resting my head on something and realizing like I fucking fell asleep doing this and now I don't remember a lot of what happened. And then, I think it's when I start to get tired and I'm starting to miss pieces of information. That's when I'm like, okay, I got to wrap this up because now I got to recall everything and write it down. So that's when, all right, we're going to try to bring our attention back to me and my body, right? And I'm going to start at the top of my head and just be like, okay, just let's get our attention to that point at the top of my head and then work my way down, right down to the toes where I started, right? The first time. And then we'll do the deep breaths just to get like back up and going. And then you get a piece of paper and you get a pen and you write that shit down because, within a couple of minutes of getting up and moving around and getting a drink or whatever, there will be pieces of information that have already disappeared. It might be gone forever. You want to document. It's going to be very, very important in your process. And so that's how you get started with this. And from here, you really get to know the tools that you're working with. You can check out my website, nextgenmedium.com. I have a PDF that I made. It's called the 0F's Guide. And it's supposed to be like a Cliff's Notes, get started now on psychic mediumship, intuition healing. These things are called soul modes, psychic mediumship, intuition healing. There's a foundation that builds them. And the guide is really what gets you set up to be like, all right, here's the concepts you need to know. Here are some of the exercises to get started. Here's worksheets. You can check that out at nextgenmedium.com. That's available in the store. Is actually available on like e-reader stuff, but I say just get the PDF so you can print it off and you can write on it. I would prefer that. I mean, personally. You can also chat with me. You go through this process and you're just not feeling like I really have a clear understanding of what's going on when I'm going to that space, why I'm not receiving information, or how I'm really receiving that information, or what my next step is in order for this to become truth in my life. You can go to my website, nextgenmedium.com, and you can reach out to me so we can get an appointment together. And it would probably be like a 45-minute appointment. And from there, we can do... I don't want to say prescribe. I shouldn't say the word prescribe. I would give you advice. Like, here's your next steps. You can feel free to have another appointment with me so we can go over things, or just shoot me an email and see how things are going. So that's kind of up to you as to how you want to be guided, really. Or we can go all out and do a 6-month one-on-one program where I can really get in deep with you. Because you know what step 2 is. Step 1. No, step 1 is getting the box, right? And then step 2 is putting a hole in the box. Yeah. Step 3. Okay. It's kind of late. I'm losing my mind a little bit. Check out nextgenmedium.com. That's where you can get the things. Also, if you want to try your psychic abilities with another tool that I have, it's called Psychic Practice, and you can order a mailing that I send to you. And what it is a photograph that's in an envelope, and it's in a sealed envelope. You can't see the photograph. And the point is you meditate on this. Like how I'm explaining this meditation process, this process of the psychic mediumship process to get to that imagination place. When you get to the intention part of the meditation, that's when you have this photo in your hand. You can't see it because it's in the envelope, and you're going, all right, my intention of this meditation is to know what's in this envelope. What picture has been mailed to me here. And that's when you let all the artifacts come through. And it's going to be different for every person because your language, your vocabulary of that stuff is based on your life experience, which is different from every other person. It's just amazing. It's an amazing process. It's an amazing experience and exploration. And the fact that I'm the one that gets to talk about this, bring this to people, like, just blows my mind. Like, how is there not somebody else talking about this stuff? There's got to be other people out there. If there is, put a comment down below. Tell me who that is so I can check them out and make sure I'm better than them at this. No. Because the fact of the matter is, as long as people are talking about it, like, this is what matters. Everybody wins. And here's the other thing. I know what I can bring to this is going to be completely different than what other people can bring to it. And same for them. They will have really great things that they can add to this conversation that I wouldn't be able to add. And that is just how the way the world works. That's just the way. This is the way. And another way is nextgenmedium.com. Check that out. Thank you for watching. Hey, do you have this album? Was this a big deal for you growing up like it was for me? Do you have it on vinyl as well? Give a comment down below if you're a Green Day fan. Maybe which album was your favorite? Of course, Dookie's probably going to be what everybody says. And if that's the case, then you have to give me a song too. Name 3 Green Day songs from Dookie. That's what I'm going to do. I won't. So thank you for watching. And what else do I have to say? I hope this helped you. And I'd like to move on to intuition at some point, but I really feel like I have more explaining to do with this process. 101 ways to give the 3-step process. While bringing up these other topics of like, why does psychic mediumship matter? And I hope my point of, why it's important is because it gives you a different option of reality, of being able to compare what you've grown up with your whole life and compare that with what's been there the whole time that you just weren't aware of. Because no one taught you how to explore that. Well, it's time. Welcome. Let's do this. Tell me what your experiences are. Tell me down below, or you can email me at nextgenmedium.com. I would love to hear your feedback. And visit my website, nextgenmedium.com, for more stuff from me. Thank you for watching. Have a great week. And next week, we'll congratulate a new 30-year album release from a different artist this time. All right. Thanks.